And so they're getting their whole agenda through. Meanwhile, let's look at the economy right now. Plus, Bob Chapman has contacts inside Mexico City. Mexico is now saying that the flu cases are subsiding. And now they're saying, only 7 or 9 or 12 people died, different numbers from the government, but it doesn't matter. Shut the government down. They have hundreds of deaths a day of the cold and pneumonia in Mexico City alone, Bob, but I guess just it's the end of the Mexican government, the end of everything because a couple people died, Bob? Or is this really a way to have everybody stand down because they knew they were on the edge of revolution?
Well, I don't believe that they were on the edge of revolution, but I think, like we discussed on Wednesday, I think this is a trial run to see what they can get away with, see what the public reactions are. It's now proven that this is just another old flu, and people do die from that, unfortunately. And you've seen the overreaction. I know on some of the stations I was on this morning throughout the United States, the prom has been called off, and we're closing the schools for a week, and this sort of thing. People are told not to go to church on Sunday because of their contact with one another. And, of course, in Mexico, you have all of the children out of school. The churches are, relatively speaking, empty. And along the border cities, you've got the military going up and down the streets with M60s, not M16s, M60s. And that's happening in several other cities. What they're doing in Mexico is conditioning people to seeing the military around. Now, I know that they've got a problem with drug dealers, drug purveyors, transporters. I guess narcotraficante covers the whole thing. And there's been a war going on between them and the government for the last 2 years. And there's also been a war going on between the narcotraficantes, where they kill each other. And I don't know, that's not all that bad, because if somebody doesn't come and take the job, well, the job doesn't get done. But anyway, I think it's a trial run. Just like you said, Alex, from the very beginning, it looked like a hoax. We were wondering whether it was genetically specific. In other words, was it pointed towards Latin Americans? I don't think we came to any conclusion on that, did we?
No, but the one death in the U.S. was a 23-month-old Mexican national baby, a boy who'd been premature, had lung problems his whole life, and they brought him here for treatment, and he died. So no deaths, but meanwhile I have these internal state reports where they're fear-mongering from 3 days ago and saying we're going to level 6 and all this, which they're now announcing that they're probably going to do, but that we were already at level 6. But certainly I've been saying this looks like a hoax from the beginning, but there is the danger that they could use this for martial law. And Bob, Chrysler going under 2 days ago, all of this unfolding, all of this happening, the economic numbers coming in, a contraction of 6.1%. It appears the deterioration of the economy is accelerating. This is another nice distraction from that, isn't it?
It certainly is. And if you notice as well, the Working Group in Financial Markets had a meeting with Mr. Geithner yesterday, who's the Treasury Secretary. And, of course, their meetings are secret, so you don't know what they're rigging. But they've been rigging the stock market, and they've been driving the price of gold and silver down during this crisis so that people wouldn't think there was anything wrong in that area. This is a well-coordinated effort to test this martial law concept, and we haven't seen the end of it yet. I think they've run out of most of their ammunition, and they'll learn something from it, but I don't think they're accomplishing what they wanted to do. I think there's too many people out there, even on Fox, who would talk about the rights of the average American, and that is important. And
well, Bob, I heartily agree with you.
Good.
Exactly, I agree with you, and that's what we were saying Saturday on the emergency transmission I did when they were really starting to hype this, is that if this isn't a serious flu, and if this is hype, which we said it probably was then, we hoped, and we still hope, and we're not out of the woods completely yet, We'll know in the next few days. If we start seeing a bunch of deaths in the U.S., then this could be serious. But, I mean, usually a flu kills thousands anyways. That'll be normal. Can you imagine if they're shutting the whole country down in police state for one death, what 50 deaths would do, which is completely normal? But side issue there, you know, again, it's not that this is even real. It's that they're making it real. But Napolitano, the head of Homeland Security, Janet, comes out, the one putting out reports saying the veterans are terrorists and gun owners are terrorists, and she says, well, this may peter out in a few weeks, but another big one is coming very soon. There will be a pandemic. So I agree with you. As the economy falls apart, I think I know we're seeing a beta test of what they're going to do to try to sell their overall agenda and keep themselves in power. Oh, you're trying to arrest the bankers? You're trying to take Congress back? Then they'll release a real bioweapon, and then that'll be their cover for martial law.
Yeah, I think you're right. And at the same time, they'll probably crank up the invasion of Pakistan, and they may allow Israel to attack Iran as well. They'll have it all going up in the air at the same time.
And then that way people just kind of go into a catatonic state. They've done psychological tests with dogs, guinea pigs, rats, and humans now, where they put you in a cage and shock you. And, you know, there's one of the cases is where they have rats in a rat maze, and they just keep shocking them until the rat finally just gives up and stays in one spot and dies, the one spot where he's not being shocked. And they've done the test where they'll have a puppy in a cage. The Marines have done this test and published it. And it's learned helplessness, as a caller pointed out one time. I'd seen the study, but they reminded me of this. And every time the dog comes over to eat, he gets shocked. And there's one little spot in the cage where he doesn't get shocked. And after trying 10 or 15 times, he'll go over and get in the corner and die and lay down and take it. And I agree. When they finally make their total move, which we see all this preparation for, and the world government being announced, and the police state and troops at checkpoints, and announcing martial law may come for your safety, when they finally make the jump, it's going to be everything at once. What are we going to see, do you think, Bob?
I don't know. I don't know what the reaction of the public's going to be, and the longer they wait, the better it is. And the reason I say that is that the worse the financial and economic situation is going to be. If they would have to or would hold off for another year and a half or so, or 2 years to do that, that would be very good, because there should be 35% unemployment by then. And there's going to be an awful lot of very unhappy people under bridges.